Grace. Hello, Allison. Meeting is being live streamed. We just got the notice. There's Sarah. All righty. All righty. So the gang's all here. Just reminiscing with Donna Jones. For those of you that know Donna, I've known her since the 80s. Through the neighborhood church and her son. She and her son attended. So it was good to catch up, Donna.
Yes.
So let me call this meeting to order at 7 p.m. and welcome everyone. We have a guest, Allison. Everybody else's family. So this is the time for general public announcements, but are there any? Because there's not many folks here. Well, let me tell you, I have one. And that is, I got this flyer today. I don't know that you can see it. Oh no, it's blurred. But anyway, it is Homeless Youth Awareness Month is this month. I didn't realize that. And there's going to be a gathering on Tuesday, November 29th at 4003 West Adams to just discuss the state of the homeless youth. And I thought that was pretty awesome, put on by the Sanctuary of Hope. And so I don't know much about the organization, but I might try to attend that and come back with something for you. So in the meanwhile, now we have Allison with her hand up. Unmute yourself and go forth, Allison.
Madam Vice President?
Yes.
Could we?
Oh, I'm sorry. I have to review the agenda.
Agenda first. Can we do that first?
Yes, we can do that. I'm sorry. Hold it, Allison. Hold it, Donna.
Do you want me to display? Do you want me to display it?
I have it.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
Well, let me make you host. Oh, okay. Okay.
Oh,
see.
nope.
No, I haven't made you host yet. So, make a co-host. Yes.
Hello,
yes.
pretty baby.
Yes.
All right, now I can do it.
All right.
All right, I'm sorry, everyone. I get all excited to see you guys.
Worries.
And so here is our agenda starting on page 2. I've already called the meeting to order. Oh, I didn't do roll call. So that'll be next, but let's look at the agenda. Public comments, which will be coming after the roll call, the executive committee reports, funding request, and then committee reports, old business, and adjournment.
Madam Vice President, I think the only thing that we need to add for future agendas is at the end that we set aside some time for developing our agenda for the next meeting. I know we do it via email, but just before we dismiss, just see if we have any input for the
okay. And actually that's a great idea, because a lot of times in these meetings there are items that come forward that we have to remember to add to governing board or
yes, ma'am.
Whatever. Okay. I'm making myself a note. All right.
I make a motion we approve the minutes as presented. Oh, excuse me, the agenda.
As the agenda as presented. All in favor, raise their hands. All right. And our role, we have our president, Greg. We have me, the vice president. We have Sarah, the secretary. We have Paul. Where'd you go? Oh, there, Paul, the treasurer, and we have Grace, our signatory. So the executive committee is here in full force. All righty. And so now, Allison, please unmute yourself.
Hello, sorry, I might have a toddler with me that is disruptive. And I don't know if this is the right place to do it, but because it said public comment, I wanted to go and inform the council that there was a Metro board meeting yesterday that was not announced to the neighborhood councils. And it was brought up repeatedly during the public comment session by other neighborhood councils that no one had been informed, and that was a major issue. This is regarding the fare restructuring that is proposed to go into effect on January 1st. That is directly in response and refutes the city council's budget that was approved earlier this year. This will impact people inside of our neighborhoods. And in addition, during the meeting, there were all sorts of technical issues, as well as no translation offered to the, there was translation offered, but because of technical issues, translation did not occur for Spanish speakers during the Metro board meeting. Like, it was ridiculous. It was 2.5 hours of issues.
Oh, wow.
So, I know Koreatown and several other districts went in and said that they were sending a letter to the Metro board requesting a new meeting because of all those issues and not being informed. So if our council could do the same, I think that would be for the benefit of everyone.
And how did you find out about it, Allison?
I found out about it because I am an advocate for car-free Los Angeles. Or car light at Los Angeles, and it showed up on the Reddit page.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much for letting us know that. And Donna, you'll need to unmute. Donna Jones?
I wanted
there
to
you go.
quickly mention, I'm working regarding 1860, the Debbie Allen Dance Academy. Manhattan Place. Everyone knows the place on the corner of Washington and Manhattan, where the neighbors, community, experiencing insane idea of double parking, the
Oh,
entire street north, the entire street south, and leaving a small trickle in the middle of cars coming at each other. So I wanted to make sure at some point we're going to come to neighborhood council regarding that issue. I've been speaking with the neighborhood prosecutor for the area, as well as DOT and the local SLO. But right now, anytime they feel like it, they have 4 rows of cars, sometimes with people sitting in them. Other times, they're sitting
just abandoned or vacant.
Yeah, waiting for their kids to come from class or to, if they're going in to actually watch a performance. So I don't know, some of you might have seen it, experienced it, but it's more than I can explain to you. Just think about having regular parked cars on either side, east and west, then double park on the east, double park on the west, and in the middle, cars going to Food for Less are coming off Washington. Cars coming from Food for Less are coming down south from 18th, and they run into each other in the middle of the street. And it is insane. I just
Wow,
want
what a problem. Thank you,
This
Donna.
has been an issue I've been working on.
Thank you.
Bye.
All right.
Right.
Paul.
Yeah, I just wanted to raise to everyone's awareness again that there's a number that we can call if we observe somebody in public having some form of a mental health crisis. I believe it's, oh my God, I didn't write it down. I think it's 988 is the number. that you call, like you've got the 311 or you've got
Yeah.
911, there's 988. And I'm only raising this because as a concern or just to everyone's awareness as a reminder, because there was an incident in my neighborhood this past week when I was out of town. Like a whole group of neighbors on a text group chat and text were exclaiming about someone who was running up and down the street naked, essentially, part of the time. And so they called the police. And
Right.
then instead of maybe calling this 988 number, and I reminded them that I believe that we did have at least one person on the block, and it was this individual who was running up and down that was suffering from mental illness, and to make sure that if they called the cops, to be out there when the cops showed up to tell them that this person was suffering from mental illness. So anyway, I just thought it's a good occasion as a reminder for everyone that there is a number to call. You don't have to call the police if you think it's someone who's suffering from a mental health issue. You can dial that 988 number and they'll send out, they have an acronym for it. It's like SMART Team or something that will come out and try to help that person.
And assess, yes. And they're psychologists. There are people trained to do that.
Yeah, psychologists, social workers.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that.
Mhm.
Yes, and all right, I was trying to see real quick. I have it noted that for some reason 988 is not sounding right, but we
I
All
Googled it and
research.
it came up. Yeah, 988's it, the suicide
Okay.
and health crisis line.
okay. Yeah, that's a newly formed line that's only been in operation since this year, I believe. Thank you, Paul.
You're welcome.
Okay. So our next our next agenda item after public comments are reports, starting with Sarah. Sarah, you're muted.
Oh, sorry. I'm going to share my screen. Let's see if this. Okay. These are the October 25th minutes. Hopefully everybody can see them.
Not yet. It's coming up.
Oh, okay, sorry. I'll wait. Can you see it now?
No, it
No.
says Sarah. Oh, there it is. Yes.
Okay. Okay, so we've got general opening items, public comments, executive committee business, treasurer's report, president's report, board member attendance and training, funding requests, committee reports, and the adjournment.
All right. Any questions, comments? All those that approve the minutes of our October 25th meeting, raise your hands. All right, thank you, Sarah. All right, and now we're up to you, Paul. Treasurer's report.
Great. The state of the treasurer union is sound.
The State of the Union, yes.
So let me, if someone who has control could allow me to share, I'll just show
You can
our
share.
dashboard. I can share.
Mhm.
Okay. So this is essentially, I believe, only slightly changed from our governing board meeting a week or so ago. Numbers are pretty much the same. We're about halfway through our budget. There's a couple of expenses that were missed for Ann Zoomwinkle. So there's about $900 that is not reflected in the expenses to date, meaning our net available is about $1,000 less. So it should be more like 15,000. So that's where we are year to date with our budgeted amount dollars. Any questions about that before I talk about our rollover amounts?
Oh, no, we're
Okay.
anxious to get to rollover.
So rollover is status quo. We
Oh,
still,
no.
I know, sorry, it's a big lead up. Didn't mean to like get you all excited that we'd have resolution on that. But there has been at least additional back and forth from the city, and essentially the word is, as of today, that they're working on it, and we will be informed as soon as possible. I did ask for, they said, unless there were like 3 conditions that we fell under, we could be denied the rollover funds, and I asked them to confirm that we didn't fall into any of those exclusionary categories.
Okay.
So there are things like, we had flagged issues with our monthly expenditure report, for example, is one of those. So I know there were a couple of times we've been delayed by a day or two, but I don't think that any of those have risen to the level where we would be excluded. But I did ask them to confirm. I haven't received the confirmation yet, but I'll let us know with our next meeting, which will be the governing board meeting. And so that's the status of where we are with the rollover.
You
Funds
got a
is-
couple of hands,
Great. What are,
Sarah Long Henry and Greg. Sarah was first.
Oh, thanks. I just had a question. Paul, when you say that they let you know that they're working on it, who's the they there? Is that just like the city as a whole, or?
yeah, the city as a whole. I think you could see my screen. Let's see here. So, and just an FYI, I was going to inform you the person in the city's finance office that we've been working with the neighborhood council funding program, Shauna DeLongo, I believe is her last name, if I'm remembering it correctly.
That's correct.
She's now not our point of contact. It's not quite clear what happened. So at the moment, we're communicating with this generic email address, clerk.ncfunding at LA City.
Oh, that's heartwarming.
So that's who is the person who we're dealing with now, who's essentially, until we get a human being, an appointed human being that we'll be dealing with them, and they'll be the ones that will be reviewing what I've submitted to the city and helping us. So let's see. I don't know if this is going to really help. If I can. Here it is. The review of the report's still in progress. We're working closely with the controller's office. And as of today, the reports have not been finalized. We will communicate to all neighborhood councils as soon as the reports have been completed and accepted by the controller's office.
All right. And that's from the
neighborhood council funding program.
That clerk NC funding, that's where that came from. We don't, not a name, just a general.
Yeah, the general inbox, although it does look like there is an actual name in here, Marielle. So I just noticed that now.
Okay.
So
I see that. Yeah. Okay.
So that's where we are. Any questions about that? I guess there was another hand.
Yeah,
Greg, you had a hand.
Yeah, if when there's you mentioned that they said like if we had our items that were flagged in the past, if something was flagged for a short period of time, once it's cleared, then it's should be all good. Like
Okay.
And then also, yeah, I would really like for them to be very specific about what those 3 categories are. But they should be if we have just messed up our budget or spent more money than we had. So we don't have any of those items. So yeah, if they could just be specific what those 3 categories are.
So I don't know, can you still see my screen?
Well, let me put my glasses back on.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so I actually have pulled up that email. This is Gmail, so I had to unfold the email and open up the section on the earlier email. He lists the 3, or she lists the 3. So the neighborhood council may not be eligible to receive rollover funds if any of the following apply. Under exhaustive efforts as determined by Dunn, which it's not clear what that means.
I have no idea what that means.
Yeah, under frozen funds status,
Right,
due to delinquent MERs, which we're not, our
Right,
funds are
right.
not frozen.
right.
And then current treasurer and bank cardholder are not in good standing as financial officers. So of course I was very self-interested to find out that I was still in current,
You're in good
good
standing.
standing. So I thought I was, but you never know.
Right.
It's like a performance review at work. You think you're doing
Yes,
great, and
yes,
then you
yes.
go in and
Well, that
Hey.
would be your, like your training status.
okay.
That would only affect your training status. So the top one, exhaustive efforts, I have no idea what that means. So that would be like the follow-up, but. the
Yeah, but I
other
think
two-
we're all clear. I asked them to confirm that we're not under any of those categories. And then the only other real issue, budget related, is there was and we talked about this, I believe, during governing council meeting, the last one, about the $6,900 that has been rolled over year to year. It's still actually in our number. So when, I show you this neighborhood purpose grants, $8,650, like there's 6,900 of that is from this
Okay.
rollover amount that I think should be removed from this number, but I don't quite know when that happens. I believe in the rebudgeting, but I'm not totally sure.
Yeah, what they will do, Paul, is that that amount will stay, but they may show an additional funds to balance it out,
Okay.
the deposit.
But that also suggests that we have more
Less
net
money.
available than the 16,000 here. So
That's correct, yes.
so just all keep that in mind when we're thinking about the budget.
Right. Can I go back to a previous issue
Yeah.
about, like when you was giving the input on bills, like, so, Ann's good to go, like all her invoices are going to be processed or have been processed?
So I believe so. Well, they're not yet. I just
Okay.
have not fully reviewed her email, but she basically
Right.
looks like there's 4 payments she should have received.
Yes.
And it looks like she sent a current one, which is kind of for the month of, well, I'm
last
thinking
month.
that's a month of November, the current
Yes.
month or the last month. And then there's a payment that she did not receive in between August and October. So in September, we missed something. And so I believe that's the one that
Okay.
she'll be happy to get. And then, once I get this one, the second one that's for the current time period, she'll be fully caught up and up
Okay.
to date.
I will check my emails to make sure that, I don't, well, I have it, but I'll just check my emails and forward it to you.
But it's, well, she also did resend all of the receipts. I'm trying to get over here. Hold on one second. I just wanted to show you, everyone, that you can see, this is the list of payment requests that went through in the last few months.
Mhm.
So there's one for 814 for Ann. There's one, where is it? Up here at the
10.
top, 10-6 for Ann. And that's it. So it does appear we're missing one.
Okay. Okay.
And then it appears that the Garden School Foundation, for some reason, that one, the request was denied, but, and then I'm not quite sure what happened with that one. I think we redid it under this second one above. So that one's
Okay.
copacetic now.
Sweet. Okay. Thank you, Paul.
All right. Anything else, everyone? No? Okay. So I'm going to pause my share or stop the share, and we can move on to the next subject. I believe there is a third bullet point under my reporting, but I thought I had addressed that at the governing
Okay,
council.
I just added that. I didn't know if there was anything more to say on that or not.
Yeah, not at this time. Thanks, Paul.
Okay, all right. Then we move on to the president's report.
Am I up? Oh, that was quick.
I know,
Okay.
flying by.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so my first item is that we said that we wanted to draft a letter to discuss the issue of city council members for its ethical performance.
Mhm.
I have the first draft of that in the package, in the agenda package. it's not in the right format. It just has like the text of it. So what I guess what would be best to do is rather than going over it here, if each of us would, I mean, we can go over here, but I think each of us needs time to reflect on it to see if we think that it's strong enough, or if we want, well, if it's addressing the sentiment that we want to express, and so that we can go through it. Basically, we want to say, well, I don't want to diminish it in any way, but we want to say these are ethical standards that everyone should follow. We expect them to follow it, and then if they don't follow it, that they should be removed from office. But I don't know how we want to address that process of saying that they should be removed from office, or if we want to even include that
Right.
in our protocol, because sometimes if you put more information in it, people may get stuck on that one detail and miss the whole point of the letter. The point of
Right.
the letter is that we want our leaders, our public servants, to live by and govern themselves by ethical standards of respecting all people, and realize that their period of service is not for their own power and benefit. So,
Yes.
so anyway, do you want to look at the letter here, or do you want to just look at it on your own and then provide feedback on it?
Group.
I'd like to do this with everyone looking at it and then commenting at the next
Okay.
one.
Okay.
All right.
Look, you want to look at it here, or you want to look at it on your own? I'm not sure what you mean, Grace.
Oh, okay. That I thought you meant here. Anyone
No,
else?
on my own.
Okay. Gotcha.
So you can
Okay.
have time to digest it.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Okay.
I'm
good.
in agreement with that.
Okay. So
Sarah's
was-
shaking her head. Paul,
Okay.
are
Sweet.
you in agreement? Okay, we're good.
Okay,
That's
so
what we'll
that's-
do.
That was the first item. We for the
Mhm.
vacant seat in Region 1, Area 1, Seat 2, Group B that expires in 2023, which is a short term. We sent that out again, requesting, seeing if anyone wants to fill that seat, but no response yet. So,
Wow.
if you know someone that lives in that area, you can try to recruit them, but no response to the
Okay.
request. That was that item, and I don't have anything else.
Yeah, you just had 2 items. What?
Yeah, well, there was more, but we had already discussed all those items, so I did. Yeah.
All right, Paul has his hand up, Paul.
Yeah, I just, once Greg is fully done with his president's report, I
I'm done.
actually did need to circle back on one or 2 other items that I forgot to mention during my section.
No circling, no circling.
We do squares right here. Try.
Yeah.
No, I'm done. I'm done.
Okay, go ahead, Paul.
Yeah, I neglected to mention that I don't, we had the Butterfly Garden and the Ignite MLK event, the food boxes that that came before us, and they both made the requests
Uh-huh.
for funding.
Uh-huh.
And I think the way they're currently written, they're not neighborhood purpose grants. They're just a funding requests. So I don't know who worked with those organizations for the funding, but I need to identify who that is, because we need to redo them and have them done as neighborhood purpose grants.
Well, that
Lizzie,
was
hi, Lizzie. Were you,
Hello.
who was involved with the Butterfly Garden?
No, that was not.
that would be me. That would be me.
Oh, that
Okay,
would be
so-
you.
I would say yes, ma'am. That would be me.
Okay.
So we'll get together. And then what about the Ignite?
Ignite LA?
Because that is also you,
That
Greg.
would be me
Yeah.
too, but I thought she submitted a neighborhood purpose grant.
Okay, well, I'll
Matter of fact, I thought
review.
both of them submitted a neighborhood purpose grant.
I did too, but I think I'll confirm, and then I'll get together with you
Okay.
after
Yeah.
this meeting.
Yeah.
All right. Okie dokie. Well, then the next one is me. And let me get to what I have to share. All right, so first on attendance, we're doing really well on attendance. Training, we do still have an issue, and that is Raheem still has not updated funding. And I reached out to him again with a little stronger wording saying, you know, UNNC rules say if this is not completed within 2 months of the expiration, which would be December 1st, you can be expelled. And I hadn't heard anything. Now I've seen emails, I've seen him involved with that fence banner
Mhm.
request
Mhm.
from the Prescott school. And
Mhm.
so he's involved. I see the communication committee has a meeting coming up Thursday. Um, you know, my next thing is to call him. I know the last time, and I told you I'd heard from him, and he said he's just been very busy. But you know, this has got to get done. And you know, I try to very gently make the point of you've worked too long, too hard to, you know, have it come down to the point of us having to vote you off because you have not attended training. So I'm not sure what's going on. Yeah, let's see, October 12th, I sent one saying gentle reminder, please get it done. And then I've sent one since then. I don't seem to have it here in front of me. But that's just a really big concern of mine right now is Raheem and getting that done. Other than that, everybody else's training is up to date. We've got Carlos with the training coming up in December, and we have John Arnold coming up with a training in December, and everybody else is 2023, 2024. So congratulations, everyone. We just get Raheem together and we should be good because once he completes, he will be up to 2024. So we'll just keep working away at that. Any suggestions, any comments, any?
Paula, you've notified him twice or 3 times at this point.
You know, I have to look. I think it's twice.
Yeah, at least twice.
It's twice.
Okay.
And the last time, which was just like last week, said you must have this training completed within 2 months of the expiration. The expiration was 10/1, or you could be expelled from the committee.
Yeah.
Paula, may I just ask that you send him another one and say it must be completed by 12/1 or 11/30?
Yeah.
So that he
Yes.
gets it. Like if
Yeah.
you know, it's not enough. I mean it, and you know, I'm willing to call Raheem as well, but I need you to send that, or Greg, if you have a better relationship, whoever has the best relationship with Raheem. I mean, we're fine. We're not best buddies, but I'd be happy to call and remind him.
I actually was going to reach out to Greg to do that.
Yeah, the issue, I mean, of course, I will. The issue is the same for all of us. Everyone's busy. No, I don't want to take the training. But we just have to. So he just has to block the time up. But yeah, I will call him this week and say, come on, buddy, let's get it done.
I mean, Paula, the best thing you can do is give him another notice, you know, now. And then again, you know, another one on Friday if he hasn't done it by then, another one on Monday, just, you know, constantly putting it out there. So he can't say, well, I didn't know.
Right.
And you know, we think we have enough time. We've got 2 weeks, we have a month, we have 2 months, we have a month. Or it's like, oh my gosh, I forgot.
Mhm. Yeah, and that's not good. That's not good enough. I
And
mean,
no one wants to
we
be
went
the
through that
mean.
with one of our other members, but in his case, he took the class. He thought he took the class, but in Cornerstone, it registered as a what was that word?
A review.
A review.
Yeah,
Yes.
and again,
And
that's the
so,
flaw of that system. It's like you have to be really careful
yeah,
when taking the training, and that's just will frustrate people because you know I had the the tutorial up in front of me as I'm signing in because I don't want to take it twice. So
right.
yeah.
And so it is unfortunate. And I was getting really frustrated with this other person thinking, why doesn't he just take the class? Well, finally, there at the end, I found out that he had, and there was that misunderstanding. I mean, finally, I reached out to
Uh,
Kyle Stone of the LA admin specialist for the LA City. And he was the one that said, well, yeah, I see where he logged in, but that was just recorded as a review. And we actually tried to fight that. It's like, come on, guys. He went in, he did it. Can't you give him credit? And they said no. And then he balked at having to do the class again, but he
Right.
did.
Yeah.
Thank goodness. And it's done. So I just hate to go through this. I hate to have to keep saying, take your training, take your training, take your training. I love training, but I see the other side. Greg is like, no, don't want to do it, don't like it.
And I'm
If
in
I could
education,
do it
so
for
no.
you, I would, but can't do that.
Yeah.
Can't do that. So okay, so that's training. The next item is
Madam Vice President,
yes,
can I
yes.
comment on? Yeah, so Paul, so what I'm going to do is I've been a little reluctant to do this. So when someone comes up with a funding request, I'm going to make sure I send them straight over to your corner, henceforth and forevermore, at least for the next 6 months or so that they will talk to the current treasurer about stuff. And I can just say,
Oh yeah, you
Yeah,
still
because I
get
think
some
we'll have
residual.
a
Yeah.
problem with this, the funding program for the neighborhood councils if we're calling it an NPG and the form is not that. So
yeah, okay.
All right,
But
wonderful.
I will tag in on these to get the information on the right form.
great,
On
thank
these
you.
two, all right, sure.
So I'm going to remind you, Greg, to call Raheem. I will send out another reminder out tomorrow.
Okay.
And maybe if you can call even by Friday, that will have, he will have received, because it's an email. He will have received the email. And
Okay.
let's see if we can just get this done.
Okay.
So the next thing is executive handbook. And as you guys know, I missed the deadline last month, which is why we had our meeting on October 25th instead of October 18th, because everything went out late. Something I thought would never happen, but it did. And so, we get busy. This is the other reason I can kind of identify with Raheem. There's, a gazillion things buzzing around. But if, at least for me, to have, this is what your job, these are the due dates, this is when you need to do it, so that I check that and I check it off. Okay, I've done that. I can set myself reminders. And I thought, we have nothing in writing, so far as I know, for our different positions. And I just thought it would be good if each of you could take a moment, jot down what your responsibility responsibilities are in your different roles. Call it executive handbook, or something to that effect. And it's good for us. It personally was good for me to sit down and think about it, but it's also good for incoming people to say, okay, this is what I do. I mean, when I came in, Dolores handed me about 5 pieces of paper and said, do this, do this, do this. And so now I have it down with, these are what you're supposed to do. And it's not limited to that, but at least it's a start. Greg has his hand up.
So, Madam Vice President, so how do you propose that we do this? Or one way, do you want to create a Google file where there's a basic outline for our different sections and we can just populate? I mean, I have some documents that I received from Laura on things that I'm supposed to do and probably what each of us are supposed to do.
Oh, okay.
So I could put that in the file, and then each of us could add to that, and then one of our meetings we can actually review it.
What I was thinking is if everybody jots down, like I did, what it is you're currently working on, send it to me, and then Greg, we can you can compare it to what you have. And I see Laura is in the meeting and has her hand up, but that was my thought first, is jot it down, send it to me, let's look it over, and then go from there. Laura, unmute.
Yeah, and if you can hear me, because I'm still on that bad computer with bad microphone. Actually, the 5 of us who were the outgoing executive officers created a document. Remember, we created a document and sent it out. So that might be a good place to start. We could resend it, to the 5 of you and compare, contrast. But I already know that some of the job descriptions have changed. And Greg, the only thing I would warn you is the documents I gave you have all the secret passwords, so they shouldn't go up onto it.
Yes.
Oh no.
Yes. Yes.
Stop it. No,
no,
that is not for sharing. We're just talking about job duties.
Right. No, but I embedded job, you do this and here's how is what I you'd have to edit just a little.
So
but I also think,
hold on to.
Yeah, I also think that each of you have sort of changed the job descriptions that we had already done, because that's a good thing, taking on different tasks. But I can forward to Paul, I'll forward to you, and then you can distribute the document that, who made us do it? Whoever was running the anyway, it wasn't me. We were made to do it. So Greg, myself, we already created a document that went out to the whole board right before the election, officer election this year.
Oh, I don't remember that. I'll have to look. Well, I would still like for each person to write down what you are currently doing. And then we can take it and compare it to that, and then figure out how to merge or change or whatever.
Right. So I'll send it to you, Paula, only so it doesn't influence anybody writing what they think they're doing.
Okay. And what do we want to set as a date for this, to discuss this at our next executive meeting? Our next, okay, that's another question.
That's
at our next meeting.
Agenda planning, yes.
Okay. Our next meeting is December 20th.
That's correct.
Are we going to meet on December 20th? 5 days before Christmas?
We'll get to that when.
Okay. These are the things that, that are on my mind. So I got to say them while they're on my mind. Okay. So that concludes my report. Lizzie, I saw her. There she is. We have the funding request, and I have something that Lizzie sent. Here it is. Lizzie, is this what you want to share? Hello,
yes,
Lizzie.
yes. Good evening, everyone.
Mute.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, you're on. Go ahead.
Yes. So this is a funding request for administrative expenses on behalf of the UNNC Elections Committee. And what we would like to request is up to $1,200 to start our marketing campaign with materials and probably services if needed. So what we are requesting is, what we are planning to use the money for is for posters, postcards, Facebook boosts, and probably, if needed, design and photography fees. And this would be for the initial phase of the campaign, which includes the candidate recruiting. So run for office.
All right, so we,
And, at the governing board, I would be
so
able
this
to-
is to recruit, this is to recruit, or let people know that, different positions are available so that they might apply? Is that what we're
Yes, for
doing?
the neighborhood council elections.
All right, and we have hands up all over the place. Grace.
So what are the postcards? Are you going to actually mail them out or just looking for
No, these
small
are
little postcards?
postcards that we usually place with businesses at on public spaces, the two libraries, at meetings, neighborhood meetings. The last time I used the little libraries a lot also.
Well, I would like to just instead of postcards, we do more flyers, which are cheaper and having the QR code instead of someone taking a postcard, which are kind of expensive per piece.
Well,
Just for fun.
the flyers, I'm just wondering about the flyers because at the businesses, a flyer takes up a lot of space, and sometimes they are just not willing to do it. Even the posters, it's a little bit difficult.
Can you put QR codes on postcards, even though that
Oh,
might
yes, absolutely.
jack up the
Absolutely.
price? I don't know.
Absolutely. That is possible.
And what's the language on the postcard? Is it just generic UNNC or is it specific to the election?
It's specific to the elections.
Okay.
Yes, we've done them multiple times. The last time we did postcards before, I can't remember. Before we used to print flyers, but they were very wordy, and that is what I'm trying to avoid between now and when we start recruiting candidates. That's the hashtag campaign project that I had proposed. I'm hoping that we can start that next week. I have already asked communications committee to come up with some type of digital asset. Yes, Grace.
Lizzie, if we did like a coffee and had potential people wanting to know and meet people versus just flyers or postcards that are left somewhere, I'd rather see that so that we can have more interaction. How does that work? I don't mind giving money to the elections committee, but I would like to see more real life in-person activity.
Oh, absolutely. That happens, but that would have to happen afterwards.
No. If you're recruiting people, you should be having coffee so people can learn more about it and what versus reading things and seeing things online.
Somebody there to answer the question. All right, thank you, Grace. Greg?
My question is to Paul, how much money do we have in the budget for election? How much did we set aside for that?
Yeah, that was going to be a question I was going to ask, but to Lizzie, but
I believe it was
point,
$3,000.
3,500, I believe, actually. So I was going to ask, how much more do you think you're going to need? Because this says up to 1,200, and so I guess, are you envisioning needing all of those funds or just some portion?
At this point, I'm not sure because I believe I am just not 100% sure if we are still going to be able to do if they want to do the hybrid elections or exactly, we are doing outreach events, we are participating in events, but as far as Don doing these kinds of events where they are actually the sort of managers of this whole process, we are just not sure whether we are going to be freely able to do a lot of in-person events. So we know that we want to do at least a meetup of the candidates and
Oh,
probably obviously at the when the elections on election day, we will have something in person, but before that I'm just not sure. And what Grace had was proposing, I think we might be able to do something like that, but I'm just wondering about the availability. Personally, I just started a full-time job teaching, and it's very, very difficult at this point. Even attending this meeting is really, my mind is somewhere else right now.
I just talked about that. Thank you, Lizzie. Laura?
Yeah,
Unmute.
yeah, so technically, the main reason Lizzie and I, because we're still the only people on the elections committee, are here is because even though it's in the budget, be it 3,000 or 3,500, we can't just tap the fund. We have to have a budget item approved. And the first candidate can start filing his or her application just before Christmas. So we're really, really tight on this. And at this point in time, the clerk hasn't confirmed a whole heck of a lot. Dunn has confirmed 0. But if we don't have a funding request in on December 1st at the board meeting, we can do 0, nothing, unless it's free, to start getting candidates to start filing right before Christmas. It's the dumbest schedule I've ever heard of. So it starts right before Christmas. It ends at the end of January, and we just have to jump in. So Communications Committee has on their agenda Thursday a further discussion on how to get started. We kind of had asked them to get started a month ago, but be that as it may. So Lizzie's right. These postcards are the most efficient way that people can take things home. Adding the QR code onto a postcard is a $0 extra. We just print it. We just print it, and we have the QR code. It goes to our main web page. Oh, it's already there, and the elections will be free. So that all of that is just doesn't add any money. But last time, when Dunn learned that we were not planning to spend $10,000, they were kind of chiding us for spending too little money, because our job are to try and replace our system. We have to be ethical about this and do the best we can and spend money to find people, let people know that this is happening. So I think that $1,200 is extremely reasonable, and it just allows us to start tapping the money in advance of the beginning of the candidate filing. And it may end up that the only thing we tap before Christmas is the Facebook boost. Get that going, and then do postcards after the holiday. But we won't have another board meeting, so we have to do it.
Any other questions? Lizzie, is your hand back up?
Yes. So what again, responding to Grace, what we have been doing this last time, because of the restrictions, with the pandemic and everything, I know that, for example, Western Heights, conducts I don't know if they still do, but I assume they still do a Zoom meeting,
Yes.
the neighborhood association.
Mhm.
West Adams Avenues has their monthly meeting. So while we were on the election cycle, I tried as much as possible to attend these events and inform the stakeholders about inviting interested stakeholders to run for office, or providing information about the elections, how to vote, how to apply for a vote by mail ballot, and so forth. And then, closer to the election day, of course, asking everyone to vote. So we had to get creative. We had one last community push where we attended a community event in Arlington Heights, and that's where we set up a booth and actually helped people fill out their ballot request forms. So I don't know if it's going to be much more different this year, but we're just, it keeps evolving. We haven't, like Laura said, nothing is set in stone right now. But
And
yes, we
so,
do have urgency for this money to be available so that we can start spending and producing the materials.
okay, so we need a motion then for the $1,200. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, please.
All right, I make the motion that we approve $1,200 for the election committee to get started. I need a second.
I second.
All right, all those in favor, and it's just the 5 of us. Oh, you know what? I stopped my share, I'm sorry. I can't see everybody. Okay, all those in favor? Okay, so we have 3 of the 5 of us. Where'd Sarah go? Oh, there she
Yeah,
is.
you have 4.
Okay. Okay, so we had 4 of the 5. That motion passes. Okay, and let's see, I'm making myself a note. I moved and Paul seconded. The Paul and Paula Show.
Paul and Paul.
Okay.
Twin Pauls. Twin Pauls.
No, I'm not voting no, I'm voting abstention, just for the record.
All
Sure.
right. Okay. Okay. Lizzie, I wanted to say,
Yes.
if it's just you and Laura, I mean, and like you said, you're busy, we're all busy. As other meetings come up, if you need help or you would like, well, I can volunteer myself to attend the meeting to talk about it. I don't know how knowledgeable I'll be, but at least we can let them know we're looking for candidates. Then please let me know.
Yes, of course.
And
I will try to, we just don't know how restricted we are right now to be having these, to be out there in the public as neighborhood council members. That is the thing right now. It's still kind of.
Right. No, I'm not saying, I'm saying like you attended some meetings, you were on the
Yes.
agenda to talk about election.
Yes.
And I'm saying, it's just you and Laura. If there are meetings that you can't make, and I'm volunteering to attend to speak about the elections. Okay.
Excellent. Very much appreciated.
All right.
Paula.
And guess what, Lizzie? Our next item is outreach. Is there anything else you
Yes.
have to say?
I think I would like to, because the last outreach event was actually Dennis and Grace's event.
Oh,
So,
the safety,
yes, the safety and preparedness, emergency preparedness event. So I think Grace would like to share that since she was there.
Okay.
Sure. Thank you, Lizzie.
Yeah,
You
sure.
know, we had some really wonderful volunteers who came in and we're just grateful. And our one thought is we'd like to do something more local to get more UNNC people to come and learn and be prepared. It was really nice that the 4th annual had so many good giveaways, and it was great to see people. And Dennis took lots of photos for UNNC to post up.
Yes.
And the best ones are the ones where you've got a table and like 5 tents coming at us because the winds were crazy in the wind. So it was very eventful.
I saw the pictures, and yes, my jaw dropped a little.
Yes, yes.
I mean, talking about emergency preparedness, right? Were you prepared?
Exactly.
It was like Mother Nature was playing a joke on you guys.
All right. Well, that's good to hear. Well, and then that was the next that you were outreach. Then the next one was the emergency planning with Dennis. He's not here, but Grace, you just updated that. Are there any other committee reports? I have Health Fair, Jefferson Park, Luis.
Louis, are you
Oh,
here? Is that you on the phone?
Before that, if I could just say something to Grace, because I know that you guys want to do something more local. So
Yes.
I have some of the pictures when we had our event, because we had something similar that was organized when Denise Jackson was our president. So she worked very, very hard. So I have some of the pictures I can share with you so that you can see who were the vendors or the agencies that attended at that time. It was at Benny Potter Park. And I think it was great, but it was I know that it was a lot of work. So
Thank you. I will
maybe use it
definitely
as a
speak with you
kind of
offline.
template.
Yes, yes, will do.
Yes,
Thank
all
you.
right, sure.
Laura?
Yeah, yes, thank you. Just an update, the next, this is from the Environmental Committee and Garden School Foundation. The next joint GSF and UNNC composting workshop is Saturday, December 10. And the initial invitation from Garden School Foundation says garden tea and composting workshop. And we're still not sure if this is tea for humans or they're going to show us how to make tea for garden plants. but it's a garden tea and composting workshop. And this one, they're also going to show people how to build their own composter thing. So
Sweet.
the last one, which did get rained out after an hour, was they focused on worms, apparently.
Teresa
Charlie reported
did a
that they
chat.
focused on worm compost.
It's compost tea. Teresa just did a.
No, I know, but we think
and
from a
added in
marketing point of view, we might do a play on words just to. have
Oh,
fun.
I see.
Yeah, but no,
Okay.
it did say their initial posting says compost tea and garden tea and composting workshop. So we're going to do a play on words.
Okay.
Taking a page from their joke. It may not have been a joke, but anyway.
Thank you. All right. Is there anything else?
Well, Mr.
Yes,
South,
great.
Mr.
Yeah.
South, is that you on the phone? We had another community member that wants to do a health fair in the Jefferson Park area, so we invited him to come and share his thoughts. He's been to a few meetings already, but he needs to present his project to us. So I thought that was him on the phone, but I guess not.
Okay. All right. Then before, okay, so agenda items for our next executive meeting. This was the additional thing that Greg suggested. One is the executive handbook that you all will get to me your job duties as you understand them. And then Laura is going to send to me what was already put together, and then we will come together and discuss that at our next meeting. Was there another agenda item?
I need to ask about the funding request. One, we for the butterfly gardens, we asked for them to regroup, so we need to find out if they're going to present again. And then for the Ignite group, the rep, there's supposed to be another rep that was going to be present at our meeting. But I haven't heard from them. So I think we should plan on having them on the agenda as their requests are still, I believe their requests are still valid.
Okay.
And give them an opportunity to present if they so desire. Okay.
Okay.
So is everyone in agreement with that? And
I am.
I'll work with Paul on getting the paperwork proper.
Okay. Anything else? We have Laura with her hand up.
Yeah, are you asking what are potential agenda items for the governing board?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, so essentially, potentially, all or none of the 3 items that are on planning and zoning.
What you garbled? What? 3 items of what?
Wait, Planning and Zoning Committee tomorrow night has 3 items, and any one or all 3 could end up on the governing board agenda. There's
Okay.
2 potential community impact statements, well, maybe, and then that darn thing that Grace and I are recused from, 1848 Gramercy. If they do bring back new plans, we may need to vote again, but John will run them, not me.
Okay.
The one of the items on tomorrow nights, which would maybe end up on governing board, is what Delora talked about at the last governing board meeting.
I didn't understand that.
Digital
last part.
kiosks. Okay, Dolores
Oh.
had asked us to look at digital kiosks, and that is on our agenda tomorrow. We don't know until after tomorrow if it's moving forward to governing board.
Also
Okay,
go ahead.
I'm making myself a note. Go ahead, Greg.
Yeah, in addition to this, this is like the first round, but we will still keep our practice of, draft the agenda, send it out, and then everyone can add and edit to that. I'm trying to get better at using Google where we have shared documents. That's, I'm being told that's much more efficient, and I agree with that. But I tried that at one time, and we were kind of slow in using that. Not this group, but another group was slow in using that. So I would like for us to do that. That way, we all can see the changes on one document rather than me seeing one person's changes, and it's just so much more efficient if we do that.
And can we also make sure we don't put zip files up on the Google Drive, if that's possible?
Zip file, yes.
Yeah,
because you have to download them.
That are hard to open.
Are you talking about PDFs, Paul?
No, zip file.
Oh, sorry,
Like
I haven't seen the zips come up.
A whole
Sorry.
folder. A whole folder.
Yeah.
Of stuff.
Yeah, I haven't encountered that yet. Sorry.
You put a whole folder, it becomes a zip file.
Yeah.
So
No, I know what the zip file is. I just haven't seen it in this concept.
Yeah.
Grace has her hand up.
Yes, I was just going to say, if we have the situation where our executive meeting is before, zoning and planning, and we want to bring something up, it seems a little backward. Either we should change our date, or planning and zoning and anybody after us, because it doesn't seem to make sense for us to have executive committee where we can't actually write what we need for a governing board. Am I making sense? Anyone else
Yes.
understanding this?
No, I understand.
I think I am.
Okay.
Well,
We think
I'm
we do.
just jumping
Raise your hand
in,
if you
but-
raise your hand if you think you understand Grace. I think I
Uh-huh,
understand.
Okay, I'm jumping in, Grace. The problem is just there's a calendar, and planning and zoning is first and third Wednesday. Executive is third Tuesday. Sometimes it's before and sometimes it's after. And we've managed over the 20 years to cope with that by just saying, we know there will be planning and zoning committee items. And trust that the president and the chairs can figure out what really needs to be on the agenda and what's not. I'm just giving you a heads up because you're having a conversation that any of those items could end up on the agenda, but we're also trying not to have too long of agenda. But with planning and zoning, sometimes something comes up that never even went to committee because we get a notice in time to put it on the governing board agenda. It's never even been acted on committee over the years. We try hard not to have that happen, but
I think Greg says we covered somewhat in that there's a draft agenda that goes out, and it would be, those items would be posted on the draft agenda,
right.
For everyone to look at and just know this is upcoming. So we'll just keep working at that. Paul had his hand up.
Yeah, I mean, I think in general, there's always a little bit of a struggle with timing to get things, the order right. But I think with, say, for example, with planning and zoning, is it correct to say that most of the things that are covered at least in that subcommittee's meetings don't necessarily require like executive board review and approval before it goes to the governing board?
Yeah, that you wouldn't normally want to be for any committee having to legislate their stuff at your committee, at executive, before it goes to governing, because then why have the committee meeting? I mean, in other words, you want to give them the thorough discussion to the committees. So again, what over time, it doesn't mean the future has got to be the past. That you just trusted that somehow the president, the leadership, and chairs can figure out a good agenda for it.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, it sounds like the only things that really need to come to us first are things that involve money and or budget.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and how many times has Greg told us in the last even 2 months, the work is done at the committee level.
yeah.
All we need to do is review and approve. I have a question in that we had 2 issues brought up to us tonight during public comments. One, the Metro Board meeting not being announced in the UNNCs, and the other, the double parking at the Debbie Allen. What do we do with those? Go ahead, Greg.
Okay, on the board meeting, we and by we, I mean, unless someone else says they want to do it, that's an area that I need to look at what happened with that meeting, and then come up with a response that we should submit for that. That may be something I might send to the executive board for an official response. That is probably an issue that needs to be timely, and that may need to be done before governing board. So that's something that I will work on. On the issue of what Donna is working on with the Debbie Allen area.
Parking.
Yeah, she is spearheading that effort, and she said that she will let us know when she wants us and needs us to chime in on it. Yeah, I fully support what she's doing. And Allison, do you want to chime in some more? I guess Allison that brought this to our attention. She's still here? Yes.
She's probably.
No, she's still here. She just put something in the chat. No, she just put something in the chat. So, yeah, and I'll look at what Allison put some information in the chat earlier also. So we'll look at that.
Okay.
And so we appreciate her leadership in that area. So yeah, so good.
And then the other thing that I said now our next meeting following third Tuesday of the month would be December 20th. Are we still going to meet on December 20th was my question.
Well, let me look at my,
And are we as a UNNC having any Christmas
No.
celebration or doing anything?
You
When we're remote, it's kind of
yeah. Teresa has her hand up, so
Kinda hard.
let's go ahead. Teresa, go ahead.
okay. Go ahead. Hi, Teresa.
Hey, Paula. Hey, everybody. Yes, the West Adams Avenues is having a Christmas holiday celebration at Johnny Pastrami's, and
Oh.
Donna Jones has invited all of the board members to attend. I think it's December the 14th from 6 to 9, but I'm not sure of the time, but it is December the 14th.
Okay, that's sweet. That's good eating there.
Well, that might answer what I just said.
Yeah.
Are we having some kind of Christmas celebration? And Greg, you were looking at the calendar for December 20th?
Yeah, I get yeah, that's of course that's Christmas week, but you know, do we want to hold the official meeting, or do we want to do a celebration or something like that, or do we want
to go
anybody
Christmas
traveling?
shopping?
Is anybody traveling during that time?
Okay.
I think I'm in town.
Yeah.
I know I'm in town. Sarah's in
Yeah.
town. All right.
Yeah. So
Well,
I guess
I
we
mean,
are
we don't
gonna-
have to have a long drawn out meeting. This was a quick meeting.
Yeah, we're pretty
It's
efficient.
just about 8:16.
Yeah,
we're about to wrap up.
We're efficient.
Can you remind me on the governing board meeting it's next week, isn't it?
The first, yes.
December 1st.
Oh,
December
December
1st.
1st.
Yeah,
2
not
weeks.
next week.
2 weeks from now.
Yeah. Yeah, we got a couple
December
of
1st. December the
weeks.
1st. Yeah. So okay.
All right, then we're gonna leave.
Oh, I need
our meeting, our next meeting. Santa, go
Sorry.
ahead. Oh, you said
Sorry.
not ho. Ho,
No,
ho.
no. Yeah, there's some things that I'm trying to like I sent out an email this morning about the Ring Central. And that's not, I'm not
yes.
necessarily asking everybody, but there are things that I think that we all should know about that. And I guess one of my practices is that if I'm asking something, I'm going to, if I will CC you so you will know that that's something that we're working on, I'm working on. It's not necessarily for you to do anything, but what I'm working on, I want you to know about and to hear about. So you can say, yeah, we on. And then if you want to, send something to me on that, that's fine. But I just want you to know that these are things like for example, on the Metro thing, if I send anything out on that, I will CC you on that.
All right.
If I'm trying to collect some information.
And on Ring Central, what I see, it says voicemail. You're considering that as a voicemail?
No, that's what we have. That's what we have. It's like, since we don't have an office, and people, we have a phone number, and when people call us, the message goes to Ring Central. But I suppose I'm supposed to check it every once in a while to see if I have any messages, but I haven't. So I'm like, oh yeah, I need to check that. So I don't even know the password to it. And so
I got this email and I thought, okay, what do I do?
No, you don't need to do anything. It's just that's something that we all need to know about. And no, I don't want to share all the passwords for everybody. I don't care.
Oh yeah,
but,
no.
I don't think it's a big deal, but anybody should be able to check the messages, because it might be related to what we have. So there's just things that I just need to do as a president. Like I need to check the UNNC email account. I need to check the Ring Central account, and just send those things out to you. I need to review the CIS files more, which all of us need to do that, but I need to review that more because that's how we let the city know what we're doing. We need to review the charter. Okay, I'm off agenda. I'm sorry. My apologies. Okay, I'm done, Madam Vice
No,
President.
that was good. See, that's a good reminder. These are, you
Yes, but I had my time to talk, should have talked about it.
put those in. Okay. All right, guys. Well, it is 8:19. Is there anything else?
Nope.
Is that a thumbs up? Okay. Meeting adjourned, 8:19 p.m. Yay.
Okay,
All right, it's good seeing
Have a
everyone.
good evening,
likewise.
everyone.
Take care.
Bye.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
And
Bye.
thank you all so much. And